I have been making Korean content for about a month and a half now, playing only Azir. If you remember, 4 years ago, I made the challenge to play Azir as good as Faker. Now, I have returned to that challenge, but I make my channel on this Korean YouTube account now. But I wanted to give an Azir update because I think he's a really fun champion to play, and I think he's despite getting nerfed, I think in solo queue he's a little underrated right now. I think he's just generally really good. So I have 164 games on him, 55% win rate. This is a new account, so I started at Silver 4, about 6 weeks ago, and I'm at Emerald 2 right now. 56% win rate. I think his learning curve is kind of insane, is the only thing. I think it's hard to understand when you should be going all out with your ult or when you should be saving it to peel, what his limits are in terms of positioning, because I'm originally an AD carry player. So I can take that positioning knowledge and apply to Azir, be like, okay, I'm playing a mid lane AP carry who is kind of like an AD carry. So I want to stay in the back line. I kind of want to use my ult to peel unless I get that like perfect moment where I can just hit the banger Faker Azir ult, as an example. Kind of like
over the wall, I think. Okay.
This fight kind of looks doomed at the beginning. Like, I don't see this as winnable. Because if I just follow that J4 up with an Azir ult there, I instantly die, and like maybe they're chunked out a little bit. And so what I'm really looking for is a little more damage onto them in the positioning and such that I don't instantly die. Along with the banger music.
Okay.
Excuse my popping off. It's kind of a light play, not amazing, but I think it's a good example of how you maybe want to look at Azir instead of like the initiating the team fight with his ult. When you first start out, that's kind of the idea. It's like Azir, you have Azir, and then you have Azir R, and yeah, you have damage from his soldiers, but what you're doing is you're hitting the sick fucking combos, right? There's two contexts in how you want to use your ult. There's the ult where you see an opportunity mid-team fight to follow up an engage, and you go in and you do 1,000,000 damage. And those are those are the banger plays that are always in the pro reels. And then there's the less known, if you're not an Azir player, peeling ults. So what I'm talking about, this guy's kind of like the Korean Azir goat. And this is what I mean by banger ult mid team fight, looking for this opportunity. This is a play you traditionally associate with Azir players. This is actually crazy though. So yeah, you're looking for those in the traditional sense, but Azir is a really good counter to jumps, obviously. So he's really good at peeling for your fed carry. So like I have a Kog'Maw here, and the enemy team has a Rengar. So what do I want? Is there more value in peeling my Kog'Maw or in finding the fat ult? Holy shit! I built Ludens this game. That is so crazy. So just an example, imagine Kog'Maw's behind me, can peel Rengar off like that, and Rengar is really big in the meta right now, so I think this is a really useful thing to keep in mind. If I see Rengar in my game, it's like, okay, my job this game is mostly to deny Rengar ult. So in my case, a classic, this is me breaking that rule because I recognize like I'm in Fog of War, they're pushing this turret, I can set something up here. Get some gold back on me. Another example of just finding good flank angles. But like I said, generally you want to, if you're starting out, you want to really just get into the mindset of I'm just a DPS carry. I do not need to do any initiations because I have stuff like that. I also have stuff like this, which this is indicative of his kind of steep learning curve. And just being bad. Hold up, she still dies. Worth. Not really, because I lose flash. More steep learning curve. Mechanically, he's kind of hard to get down. I think I have either. So just a rookie mistake, but it's kind of game breaking because now we lose this. I believe. I think we lose that. This was around gold elo. So I was still learning, and you're just getting the limits down. So you do have to make these mistakes, obviously. But the one thing I wish I'd done was just thought, okay, I'm just like a long-range AD carry, essentially. I think viewing his ult as purely... viewing Azir as an R ult bot. I don't know if people do this, but this is just for the non-Azir players. This is for people who are thinking about picking up Azir. He is very, as you know, he's a late game hyperscaler carry, which is why he's so good in pro play, because your laning is generally very safe, but you can do stuff like this. And this is completely without my ult. I just scaled it. Mega damage. If you have to engage team fights, then you need pretty much Zhonya's third item, which is not, I mean, it's good, but also you kind of want to only go Zhonya's when you're getting assassinated by like Zed or Kiana. But if you have to engage, then Zhonya's is the item you need, because you're going to go in and then you're going to get one shot. The amount of times I've done ults the wrong way is like countless. I still do it all the time. So a few of my biggest tips for playing Azir. Number one, play very conservatively with your ult. In team fights, you want to be making sure that you're positioning, especially if you're like lower elo and you're just starting out, you want to be positioning well in team fights and not looking for the fat R combo. You want to try and let your team engage and then practice being that backline carry that just is outputting damage. Number two, give it at least 100 games before you're ready to quit or whatnot on Azir. You're gonna need a lot of games, especially I've been playing League for 12 years, so I have a lot of game experience. The mechanics and camera movements are not something I need to relearn. The map awareness and macro is not something, I mean, I'm not perfect, but it's not something I fully need to relearn. But all of that shit kind of went out the window when I'm trying to get down Azir's mechanics, like during laning phase, learning matchups. So you definitely need at least 100 games to feel somewhat competent, and I'm not even there yet. I'd say I need another like 200, 300 games before I would be like, oh, I'm top 10% Azir probably in NA. I guess technically I'm top 5% NA right now, but it doesn't feel like that because I know there's so much more I still have to learn. So be conservative with your ult, give it at least 100 games, and treat him like an AD carry. Use your soldiers to control choke points. So like Baron Pit, you want to place one soldier to hit Baron, but you also want to place another soldier that can kind of threaten to do damage if the enemy tries to come into the pit. The very cool thing about Azir is you can essentially be in a couple places at once with your soldiers. You can be attacking Baron, you can be positioning to control choke points, and you can always threaten to EQ ult the enemy, and that makes him really fun and dynamic because your attention is split in a couple directions, and that is something inherent to League. Your attention's always going to be split in different directions: map awareness, CS, looking for good engages, positioning, who's going to kill me, and so that trains us very well. If you're trying to improve your raw ability in League of Legends, splitting your focus in a few different areas is really beneficial, and I think it's something that a lot of people struggle with because it's just a hard thing to do. You're not even splitting your focus. You're able to task switch more quickly. And it's the same thing in a macro sense. When you go from AD carry to mid, when you go from mid to jungle, your point of view completely changes. It's kind of like in chess when you have a rook and a knight. They do very different things and you want to use them in very different ways. All right, so I hope that was helpful. That was just a general overview of what I've learned so far. If you'd like to hear more, let me know. Thanks.